Ronda Rousey is undoubtedly a unique human being, an Olympic medalist who later became the top name in the UFC and after several movie roles, managed to bring all this success to the world of pro wrestling. But even with all this attention, the mix of a huge ego with an often childish personality was the perfect recipe for a total career decline. But before that, I would like to ask you to give the channel a chance by subscribing and leaving a like. The beginning. Ronda's MMA career seems like something out of a movie. Back then, MMA had not yet been globally accepted as it is today and was still marginalized by many. And that was just the men's MMA. The situation for women's MMA was infinitely worse in terms of public acceptance and opportunities for new athletes. Dana White even stated in an interview that he would never allow women to fight in the UFC.
When are we gonna see women in the UFC, man?
Never.
But Ronda Rousey would completely change the game. In 2010, 2 years after her Olympic medal, she made her MMA debut and racked up 6 wins, all by armbar in the first round. Her charisma, confidence, and obvious talent gained a lot of attention in the industry, making it impossible for the UFC not to create a women's division just to have her on their roster. The investment more than paid off, as Ronda essentially became the face of the organization. She not only became the champion and continued winning her fights in spectacular fashion with first-round finishes, but she also appeared in other major media outlets including movies, commercials, and reality shows, attracting an audience that might not have followed the sport otherwise. However, amid all this success, a significant criticism emerged. Ronda was only good at grappling, and her striking skills would eventually lead to her downfall. This truly became her first major problem. The first fall. The stage for her first downfall was set on November 14, 2015, when Ronda faced Holly Holm, a former world champion and legend in boxing and kickboxing. Despite never having faced anyone with Holly's striking caliber, no one in the world believed this could be Ronda's first defeat, making her a 9-1 favorite. This belief was clearly shared by Ronda herself, who confidently declared during the fight promotion that Holly would be just another victim and that she would make quick work of the boxer. What we saw in practice during the fight could not have been further from that. Holly, with excellent movement, managed to deny all of Ronda's takedown attempts and showed superior levels of striking, knocking out Ronda in the second round with one of the most iconic kicks in history. But the defeat itself wasn't the worst part of the process, as almost all great fighters have tasted defeat and found ways to mentally fortify themselves and come back stronger. This wasn't the case for Ronda, who hid away whenever she could, and when she did appear publicly, she lamented her defeat excessively, even going so far as to say, God hated her. However, this wasn't the last time Ronda appeared in the UFC. In December 2016, she returned to fight Amanda Nunes, who is still considered the greatest female fighter of all time. There was great anticipation for the return of the most famous woman ever to step into the octagon, but the fight itself was far from competitive, with Ronda being knocked out in the first round. The emotional impact of this defeat affected Ronda so much that she decided to retire from the sport. But this, as you know, opened doors to a new professional path. Pro wrestling years. When Rousey's in-ring debut at WrestleMania 34 was an overwhelming triumph, showcasing the former UFC champion's natural talent as she teamed up with Kurt Angle to face off against Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. The match stole the show, and it looked like Ronda was set for a prolonged and successful career in pro wrestling. She captured the Raw Women's Championship from Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam and defended it successfully against notable challengers like Mickie James and Nikki Bella. As a lifelong wrestling fan, it seemed Rousey had finally found her true passion. The second fall, but then things began to unravel. Ronda's attitude, always a bit prickly, started to rub people the wrong way backstage. There were whispers of tension with her fellow wrestlers and rumors that she was getting special treatment without paying her dues. Things only went downhill from there. Her feud with Becky Lynch, which should have been a slam dunk, fizzled due to a combination of poor booking and lack of chemistry between the two. Her matches grew sloppy and uninspired, with Ronda looking like she was just going through the motions. And then there were her promos. Ronda had never been known for her mic skills, but in pro wrestling, connecting with the crowd through words is just as important as in-ring performance. Unfortunately, Ronda's promos often came across as wooden and insincere, further alienating the fans who had once been so excited to see her. After losing in the main event of WrestleMania 35, Rousey disappeared from pro wrestling, leaving fans wondering if they'd ever see her in the ring again. But that wasn't the end of her, and after 3 years, Ronda returned to pro wrestling, winning the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble. While fans were buzzing with excitement to see the former UFC champion back in action, that buzz quickly turned into a head-scratching confusion, and then outright disdain. The issue, as always, was Ronda's attitude. She was supposed to be the good guy, the babyface, but her expression told a whole different story. She looked disgusted, annoyed, like she couldn't believe she had to stoop so low as to entertain these wrestling fans again. And let's not forget that during her hiatus, Ronda trashed the business and its fans, calling wrestling fake and beneath her. Bringing her back as a babyface? Major miscalculation. Okay, fine. Ronda's back. She's in the title picture. Everything's rosy, right? Wrong. Decided to book Ronda as an unstoppable killing machine, mowing down everyone in her path with ease. The problem? It's boring. Fans want drama, competitive matches, and underdog stories. But with Ronda, there was never any suspense, never any doubt about the outcome. Even when WWE tried to give Ronda a real challenge, like putting her up against Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, they botched the finish and left everyone unsatisfied. The feud with Liv Morgan? Even worse. Liv never stood a chance. The real head-scratcher came when WWE put Ronda in the tag team division with Shayna Baszler. On paper, it made sense. Real-life friends, both with MMA backgrounds, could have been gold. But in practice, it was a disaster. They won the tag titles, sure, but then Shayna turned on Ronda out of nowhere, leading to a feud that nobody wanted. And then, just like that, Ronda was gone again, leaving WWE with egg on its face and a women's division in chaos. Looking back, it's easy to see where things went wrong for Ronda in pro wrestling. Her arrogance and lack of respect for the business rubbed people the wrong way. Her inability to connect with the fans made it hard for them to invest in her. Fast forward to today, and Ronda's future in combat sports looks bleak. She's burned bridges in both MMA and pro wrestling, and her once large fan base has dwindled to a small, unenthusiastic group of diehards. In recent interviews promoting her new book, Ronda has only dug herself deeper, making a litany of excuses for her past losses and claiming to be the greatest fighter who ever lived. It's a level of delusion that would be almost comical if it weren't so sad. It's a shame because Ronda had all the tools to be a massive success in WWE. Her combat sports background, badass attitude, and mainstream appeal were all there for the taking. But somewhere along the way, she lost sight of what made her special. In the end, Ronda Rousey's pro wrestling run will go down as one of the great what-ifs in wrestling history. What if she had put her ego aside and embraced the unique culture of sports entertainment? What if she had shown her colleagues and fans the respect they deserved? What if she had trained hard enough to cut a half-decent promo? We'll never know for sure. One thing is certain. Ronda Rousey's fall from grace is a wake-up call for anyone entering the world of pro wrestling. It's a reminder that no one, no matter how talented or famous, is bigger than the business itself. No amount of talent or potential can overcome a toxic attitude and an unwillingness to grow. What do you think? Is Ronda being unfairly vilified, or is she just reaping what she sowed? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed.